You all are in for a treat today. If you know any one of us, you would be delighted, but all three of us together, oh, it's gonna be fun. So we're getting ready to get started here. And as you know, Zoom is always does what it does. But we're so grateful that we have this opportunity to be with you all today.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. And again, we welcome each of you here. Thank you for joining us. My name is Shequila Roberts, and I will just want to say the poem that is being narrated, we're going to play it in a moment here, is actually my son narrating the poem. And when we first heard the poem, when I first saw it, it went viral on social media. So I asked him what he think about it. He was like, oh my gosh. He was like, take care of my baby sister and do this and do that. I say, well, yeah, some children have to do all that. So just take a listen to the poem that we're about to play. And we thank my son, Lorenzo Stewart, for being a narrator on this poem.
And I'm going to do it without sharing the screen.
"'Cause I Ain't Got a Pencil" by Joshua T. Dickerson, narrated by Lorenzo Stewart. I woke myself up because we ain't got an alarm clock. Dug in the dirty clothes basket, 'cause ain't nobody washed my uniform. Brush my hair and teeth in the dark, 'cause the lights ain't on. Even got my baby sister ready, 'cause my mama wasn't home. Got us both to school on time to eat us a good breakfast. Then when I got to class, the teacher fussed, 'cause I ain't got a pencil.
So my name is Chantel. I'm here today as a professional organizer. I'm going to be teaching you how organizing your space, mind, time, and your community resources can help you have an amazing life.
And I'm Cendie Stanford, and my message from ACEs Matter that I want to share that's a part of the formula that I created to share with the world is with ACEs Matter, I believe, this is my personal statement that I'm on a mission to prove, I believe that people who heal from their childhood adversities overall do better mentally, physically, and financially. That is my undebatable statement that I feel like when people follow this formula, it works. Like, but you know that all of my friends who are working through their childhood adversities are finding huge benefits from it, not only mentally, but physically, and also financially.
My name is Shequila Roberts. I am founder of Determine Out, also executive director of Meditate with She. And I believe that people who practice mindfulness learn how to enjoy the present moment, which is the gift.
So what's going to happen next with everybody that's here today, I'm going to go first. We've actually broken this down into 3 different segments. So you all are going to hear first the message. What is the key message that ACEs Matter is trying to hone in on when it goes out and does its thing with the communities and individuals in talking about ACEs? So the first thing you're going to hear is the message, and then it's going to be followed by Chantel Aquart is going to share the map. So after you hear the message, you get the map, and then Shequila is going to close us out with how do we maintain all of this once we've got to that. So I'm going to be first up, and these lovely ladies are going to step down, and I am going to be completely transparent. I am a talker. My man tells me I talk a blue streak. So what I did is I pre-recorded myself in this presentation because I wanted to be able to let you all hear exactly what ACEs Matter is trying to do before I get started. And I want to pause it throughout. If you guys have questions about what we're doing, I want to be able to pause it and then allow you all to come in. Each of us have approximately 20 minutes of time with you. And we're going to leave space at the end for us to take questions and then for people to pick our brains or even share like what were your takeaways. So without further ado, I am up next. Thank y'all. So if you'll notice, the elephant in the room, for those of y'all that have ever heard that statement, there's an elephant in the room, and that elephant in the room is forcing us to look at our generational ACEs. And the first thing I wanted to do is to allow you all to get to know, who am I, Cendie Stanford? Okay, I'm gonna read this letter. So 2 things. One, the written letter that you see on the side, I was 7 years old, so y'all try not to judge me on my grammar, because I was 7 and they were teaching us cursive back in the day. But I wrote this letter to my dad when I was 7 years old, experiencing ACEs. So what's happening right here in this letter, before I even knew what the word ACEs were, is real-time ACEs. My dad, by this time, had remarried and had another child and was living in Seattle, Washington, and I was in the state of Texas. So I'm going to read it to you, and then I'll give you a little bit more context when I'm done. From the voice of a 7-year-old Cendie. Dear Dad, Brenda, and Troy, I miss you guys, but summer's coming up and I'll see you. Sometimes if I am not busy, I think of you and I want to cry, like right now. Dad, you'll have to visit because I miss you way too much for tears. I want the picture quick if they're already here. Obviously there was no camera phones back then. Dad, when I come, please take me to Chuck E. Cheese when my birthday and Toys R Us because I want an Atari. Dad, I can't stand being without you. I love to see you before I cry myself to death. I miss you guys that much. I can't wait to get my bottom down there. I'm doing quite good in school, and I do like most of the teachers for picking me as student of the month. I'll babysit Troy and Steve. Those are my 2 younger brothers. And like you said, I'll get paid. Sorry if this is messy, but I was in a hurry trying to finish. Okay, snail mail. Y'all know back in the day there was no email. So, Daddy, I can't write anymore because I miss you so much. It's wet because I cried on it and I didn't mean to. I wish I could be with you now. I love you, bye, without the E. Love, Cendie. So here's what I want to share, what I remember happening the day that I decided to write this particular letter. Somebody's asking, can we make it bigger? So give me a second. I'm going to do my best, y'all. I'm going to do my best. I'm doing my best. My best is all I got. YouTube's funny. Look at the chat. Somebody said, can we make it bigger? Can y'all see that? Y'all chat and let us know if it's big enough for you to see. Okay, I made it large, but I'm going to close out because I don't want to eat too much of the time. But I remember writing this letter to my dad because my grandmother, who had her own ACEs, had done something really mean to me and my brother one morning. And not to throw my grandmother under the bus because I know my grandmother had her own issues, but now that I understand where ACEs come from, I can better understand why my grandmother grandparented the way she did. And in this situation, my grandmother was very well aware that I was not able, I couldn't drink milk as a kid. Milk made me sick as a kid. I liked milk because I wanted to be like the rest of the kids and have cereal at breakfast. So I would eat the cereal, but I just wouldn't drink the milk. Like I would let the milk run off of the cereal so that I wouldn't digest it, right? Because it would make me sick. And this day, my grandmother was upset with me because I had poured too much milk in my bowl of cereal at 7 years old, made the mistake of putting too much milk. And of course, like every morning, I couldn't finish it. All I could do was eat the cereal, and I would normally pour the milk down the sink. Well, in this situation, she was very upset with me because she felt like I was being wasteful, and she forced me to drink that bowl of milk. And of course, I got sick and I threw up. And I remember going into the shared room with the other. I lived in a house with like 15 different people, and I remember going into one of the shared rooms and writing my dad a letter because all I wanted to do, y'all, was escape from my ACEs. At the time, I didn't know were called ACEs. So thank y'all for listening. And for the rest of this, you're going to hear a little bit about like how I came up with the formula. And then I'm going to try to pause it about 10 minutes in. It's about, I want to say 17 minutes long total, but I'm going to pause it about 10 minutes in and see if I can field a few questions from the audience. So thank y'all for being patient with us. Please answer this question if you're still engaged with us. At what age did you learn about the Adverse Childhood Experience Study? Go ahead and drop that in the comments for us. 55, we got some 57s, what age people were when they learned. This is great. Well, thank you. I want to celebrate doing it was I know I was 42. I was 42 and it was 2020, the year of the second pandemic. I want to celebrate 3 additional birthdays with you as you think about your birthday being the day you learned about adverse childhood experiences, because learning about adverse childhood experiences is the first key to reducing generational ACEs. Everybody that I know and that I talk to who have learned about adverse childhood experiences and are actively doing things to reduce them are doing better mentally, financially, and physically. That seems like a really big trade-off to learn about adverse childhood experiences. And our goal at ACEs Matter is to try to get everybody else, anybody that's willing to listen, to convince them that people who process their childhood adversities and do it in these ways that are recommended by the experts overall do better mentally, financially, and physically. We think we can prove that by starting the conversation. So celebrate the fact that ACEs is turning 2 this year. The fact that I'll turn 45 this year. God's will, I'll turn 45 this year. And I get to celebrate that my 40 years of personal experience with trauma has a purpose. My 4 decades of experience with trauma have found their purpose. And that purpose sits below that 45, and her name is Courtney. Courtney turns 22 this year. I celebrate that with you, this group of people, to show you how much I care about ACEs and why they matter. Courtney gets to turn 22, even though she tried to take her life on 2 different occasions when she was a teenager, all because of her ACEs, and her mom didn't know what to do about it. Thank you all for letting me celebrate some of my most intimate, private moments while being on this earth. 42 years old, I discovered that I have been a human doing it. And then because I have gone down this rabbit hole, if you will, I have learned through the work of ACEs that I'm supposed to be a human being. And so now that I'm at this place of being a human being, I want to share this space with those that decide to listen. I pre-recorded this audio because I wanted to get permission to have access to 2 of your 5 senses today. I'm going to share very intimate details of my life through pictures and through stories. I'm going to do my best to keep this entire thing under 15 minutes because I would like to save time to bring in the other ladies who are part of edifying this formula that we feel at ACEs Matter is the game changer. So I'm going to ask you to do an impossible task over the next 40 seconds or so. If you'll hang in there with me. The impossible task is, I'd like for you to, in your head, silently, because there's no other way to do in your head, but in your head silently, I'd like for you to hum the tune of the happy birthday song. But I'm going to ask that you not think about the words to the song, and I'm going to ask that you not say the words to the song. What feels like an impossible task, I'm going to give you like 10 seconds to try and do. And I'd love to know in the chat box, how did this activity feel? So again, the instructions are go on mute. And for the next 10 seconds, I want you to try and hum the happy birthday song, but I'm encouraging you, I'm asking you, I'm pleading to you. Please do not think about the words, and please do not say the words as you hum the song. 10 seconds, go. Some of you might have found that activity difficult to do. How in the world could you hum happy birthday and then be asked to not think about the words? If you found that task difficult to do, then that is a reasonable reaction. And here's why I call that or qualify that as a reasonable reaction. When an experience is ingrained so deeply in your brain, it is hard to disassociate what the body first remembers. And the key message that I'm here to share with you today is that ACEs didn't start with you. And for those of us who have to be on the internet because of the work that we do, I want to bring your attention to this pop-up that randomly we start to see on every single website that we visit now. This particular message may look familiar to some of you. And I merged that into this whole thing with trying to disassociate words with the happy birthday song to what does that have to do with ACEs Matters formula? Our formula is going to leave cookies in your brain. We're going to ask permission, like I said, to access 2 of your 5 senses. Both of those senses that we're activating today is to hopefully leave cookies that will encourage you to want to do a task as difficult as starting the conversation about ACEs. That is our formula. It sounds pretty simple, but it's our formula. ACEs didn't start with you is our message. And the formula is to teach other people how to have the conversation, how to model the conversation, and what tools do I need to successfully overcome my childhood adversities. And just like on websites where we click yes because we really want to browse what's happening on this website, when we click yes, what can we do about generation? Hey, how is everybody doing? I'm on camera again. That was going kind of slow for me. It was going kind of slow for me. How are we doing in the audience? Just real quick check-ins. I see there's like 17 or 18 people. How are we doing in the audience? Because we had some slow. Are y'all doing okay? Mine, thumbs up. Leslie, thumbs up. Okay. I see some love the messages so far. Okay. I want to make sure because I know we, Christine, I'm going to roll with you. Here we go. I just want to check on y'all. Here we go. Couple more minutes. What can we do about generational adverse childhood experiences? If you are comfortable with sharing this, I'm going to ask that each of you in the chat say yes or no to this question. To your knowledge, are you the only one in your family that has experienced ACEs? Yes or no, or don't respond at all. Go. As you are typing the responses, this is a $1.3 trillion issue, this being ACEs. There was some research done that says ACEs globally cost the economy $1.3 trillion. And for those of us who have been groomed in our lovely country of America, sadly, we do see profits over people quite often. But that's not the story here today. The $1.3 trillion question that's at hand for ACEs Matter is how do we stop it? How do we stop it? Because ACEs are events that humans do to each other. ACEs are not an act of Mother Nature, if you will. ACEs are a result of humans lacking nurturing or the capability to do that in the way that I've understood it. So allow me to share with you why I believe ACEs are generational. This tree depicts every single person in my family that I know of, stopped at my grandparents on both my paternal and fraternal side, all of them had experienced ACEs before they turned 18. And as you look at the beautifully colored leaves on each of those experiences, it would make sense that our mothers and those of us who became mothers passed them down, right? So according to my own personal research, ACEs look very generational. Turn your attention to this image, because this image is how I'm going to close out my time with you today. This image was taken from the steps of the church where I grew up in. The church that I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, 79403 and 79404 were the two zip codes in the very segregated neighborhood where I lived. And in 2014, we put to rest my 54-year-old uncle who had died of alcoholism. And in this image, what you see are people's faces covered with ACEs. Every single person that is captured in this image, to the best of my knowledge, many I know personally have ACEs. And although the coroner's report says that my uncle passed away of alcoholism because he drank himself to death, the truth is that my uncle passed away because of his ACEs. The study from ACEs, as many of you may know, says that people with ACE scores as high as mine and even my uncle's are at risk of passing away 20 years sooner than somebody who did not have an adverse childhood. So wouldn't it make sense that all the people that are showing up to his funeral can relate to him? ACEs have faces. And the faces that you are not allowed to see behind those ACE cards are people like you and me, just looking for connection. Looking for a way to put a plug into this situation that we were born into. And the formula that ACEs Matter wants to share, and the vulnerable part of me that's asking anybody who is listening today, is saying, take a chance, start the conversation, do what feels impossible, just like the happy birthday song. The formula for ACEs Matter is to start the conversation and to use what you all may know as ambassadors to get it done. We cannot wait for our cities, our governments, our health officials. We cannot wait for them to solve this problem for us. There have been
Okay, y'all have us live now. I'm ready to come off because I could talk about, I gave y'all the attention span friendly version of 20 minutes of trying to like break down like why I want to do my part and solve this problem. So I want to close out by leaving room for anybody who has questions. But before I turn it over to the Miss Lovely Chantel Aquart, I'm going to leave it here on this image because I did blur out all the people's faces on this just because personally I know them, right? But as I went through each of the people who were walking up the steps of a church building to go lay my uncle to rest, I started to imagine all of these people as children walking into a school building. Although they stand here in front of this picture as adults, guess what? Those are all adults who at one point were children carrying all of those ACEs into an elementary school. And the little girl that you see on the right-hand corner, that is me as a child. And by the time I was 6, I had already accumulated 5 of those ACEs. And every person that you see here on this screen are related to me either by blood or by the community. Look at all those ACEs. So the next time you're walking around in Walmart, in Disney World, at Burger King, at Kroger, at Publix, anywhere you go, I ask people, I encourage people to really not judge a book by its cover. There are a lot of people walking around just wishing to run into somebody that would be able to understand them. So I'm going to close that out because I want to turn it over. And again, this was just more of my personal thing. And if you don't take nothing else away, the message that we want to start in every community, as you can see by this image in front of you, ACEs did not start with you. The yellow arrow that you see at the very top of the screen and the red arrow that kind of looks like it may be covered up, I'm going to point your attention to these two arrows there. The yellow arrow is pointing to my daughter, who happened to also show up to that funeral. And if you notice, by the time she was 14 here, by the time she was 14, she's already at 6 ACEs. And I didn't even know about ACEs. And the last arrow I want to point you to is this one here. That is my mom. If I was on there, I would have all 10 ACEs. So as you can see, it looks pretty clear that ACEs are generational. What can we do to stop them? That is my time. I want to turn it over to Chantel, because my formula is basically, it didn't start with you. That is the message. If we can get people to have that aha moment that, hey, I can break addiction. I can figure out where these patterns in my life are coming from, why I keep running into people that don't necessarily merge with my energy. We help you figure out that part, and then Chantel comes in. She comes in with the map, because without a map, any actually road will get you there, and Chantel's going to explain that to us today. So thank you all for allowing me space on your computer screen, and it makes me think of a concept. One way to make the world a better place is to heal ourselves. Amen. To Christine. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did not know y'all this was, let me see. Okay, you're on camera. We got you live. You are live. So the only thing we got to do is put your PowerPoint up there for the people. There we go.
All right. Hey, everyone. So here is my PowerPoint for the people. My name is Chantel Aquart, and I call myself a Master Life Coordinator. And the reason for that is because I have had to learn how to master my life through many trials, many tribulations, many ACEs, and today I'm going to just talk to you about how I was able to overcome a lot of issues and be resilient and find connections in my community to move me forward to where it was I needed to go. Got it? Let's begin. So this journey that I'm about to take you on, just think about it as if you are going to a location of your choice. You may have never been there. You may have been told about this destination and you really want to go. And so put some things in your luggage. You're not sure how long you're going to be there. You're not sure what the experiences are, but you know that you're going. And so you're packed and you're ready to go. And you begin this journey with no map. As I'm sure you can agree, it's going to take a lot longer for you to get to your destination than if you had a plan of action, detailed, specific way to get there. And so I'm going to just share with you a little bit on the next slide, please.
Hi, my name is Chantel Aquart. I was a Circles leader. I'm now an ally, as well as a facilitator and planner. I'm going to be talking to you in this video about the importance and the power of bridging social capital. Bridging social capital can help us move from one portion of life to another, and I'll show you how. So my washer and dryer stopped working at the same time. With 3 kids in the house, dirty clothes pile up quickly. But at the moment, my budget really won't allow me to do the repairs that are necessary. What can I do? I love for my children to eat fresh and healthy meals every day, but when you're on a strict budget, buying fresh and healthy produce is not always an option. What can I do? My full-time job just furloughed me. I have months worth of bills due and no savings. I've been trying to launch my business for a while now. What can I do? I've had 3 car accidents in the past 2 years. One required surgery, and now my insurance is sky high. I bought a car from a buy here, pay here, and it broke down on the side of the road. What can I do? My daughter is in all advanced classes, and it's really stressing her out that she's not grasping the concepts. It's been a while since I've taken math, and I don't know how to help her. What can I do? My children's 8th birthday is approaching. They were born at 29 weeks and weigh 2 pounds each. They're so special to me. But at this time, my budget doesn't really allow me to have them a party. What can I do? My father passed away while swimming in the ocean in Jamaica. He was on vacation visiting from England. I'm the executor of his will, and I live in Orlando. He was my #1 supporter in life, and I really want to give him a proper send-off. What can I do? It's back to school time, and last year's clothes just do not fit anymore. Even when thrifting, trying to replace children's clothes is expensive. What can I do? As you can see, my suitcase is loaded. So much to be done, so much to do. Where do I turn? What do I do? So my local church is hosting a swap shop. They say if you bring the bags of clothes that you don't need, you can leave with bags of equal amount of clothes for free. That will be amazing. One of my friends from Circles said that they're in Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So I called them, got a big brother and sister for my twins, and they actually sponsored a whole birthday party at Congo River Golf for my twins. They even included a cake and party favors. The kids are gonna have a great time. After talking to one of my friends about my daughter, they said that they're a retired school teacher and absolutely love math. They're gonna meet with her 2 to 3 times a week to teach her the subjects that I don't know. That's amazing. My friend's husband is a mechanic, and he said for me to bring the car by and he'll take a look at it free of charge. She also offered to let me drive her van to get the kids to and from school this week because she works from home. That is a blessing. A friend of mine offered to take us to the local farmers market this week. She's gonna cook nice healthy meals with us so we can have a week's worth of meal prep ready. Kids are gonna love it. So I reached out to my friends and I let them know my washer and dryer broke at the same time. They've offered for me to bring my clothes over for them to wash and fold, and is gonna have someone come and look at my laundry for free. After speaking to the church about my issues with my dad, they said that they would host his memorial for me. They even helped me with the flyers and refreshments for my guests. Loss and grieving is hard, but they have classes and courses that are going to help me to go through that process. I know he would be pleased. That is the power of suitcases. When you are able to be vulnerable and able to share your load, you can lighten the load. There's no way that I could have done this on my own.
So I've shared that video a couple times before. Some people may have seen it, but my load was really heavy at that time. And if it wasn't for the help that I was able to receive in the community, I probably wouldn't have been able to unpack those experiences in such a way, and who knows what might have happened. A lot of women right now are, on many different types of medication and struggling with many different things, which then leads right back to the children for more adverse experiences, because there's just simply no one that they can speak to, no one that they can share with, and no one that they can be vulnerable with. And so I decided, for the sake of my children moving forward, I wanted to change the trajectory of that. I wanted to be open and honest with where I am, what I'm going through, and who I am, in order to heal that little girl you see on that screen and help my children that are going to be coming forward to know how to share. And I found that, as Wayne Dyer says, as I uncluttered my life and as I shared what was going on, I was able to answer of my soul. And that is when I was able to then connect with all of these amazing organizations, as well as this formula that we have with the maintenance map and the message. Next slide for me, please. And so a lot of times when we're going through adverse childhood experiences and we have adverse community environments, we are in a lot of confusion. This confusion, this chaos causes so many different blocks, and a lot of things aren't able to get done. As I've learned in some trainings, it's called, we're living in the tyranny of the moment. We're constantly doing the same things, having the same experiences, and not knowing how to have abstract thought in our brains, because as you can see, it's cluttered with everything we have going on. So we can't think clearly how to focus and how to move forward. Next slide, please. And so in life, we're really kind of just sitting, we're waiting. We know there's a destination, a journey that we want to make, a destination that we want to go to, but it's almost like we're taxiing and on our runway. You know, when you're taxiing, you can't get up, you can't walk, you can't go to the bathroom. You just have to sit there restrained until the way is clear, the clutter is cleared, and then you're able to take off and soar. And based on my experiences and the people that I've met, my goal and my map at Amazing Life Consulting is to help you take all of the time and the hard work out of this journey. Because I know that once you are organized in your physical space, your mindset is clearer. You're able to think about the things you want to do, the places you want to go, the people you want to see, and you're able to have better time management. You're able to show up on time, prepared for what it is that's going. Even though we had a lot of hitches and glitches to begin with, best believe we were prepared. And we were prepared before the moment even presented itself. Opportunities come when you are prepared, but you have to know how to get yourself to where it is you want to go and find the healing and the resiliency in your community. And so I teach people how to find social capital in 8 different areas, as you can see from my logo here. I'm an organizational specialist, but I also help you connect with the different type of specialists that you may need in order to reach your goals. So the way that I'm able to do this kind of happened by default. My parents were not in the Army. They were born in Jamaica, and I was born in London, England. And as a young child, a lot of Jamaicans made the journey to Europe and then to the US. And so then at the age of 10, my father was arrested and was put on probation. He left the probation early, which gave him lifelong immigration issues, where he was not allowed to come back and forth into this country. I was a daddy's girl. So when dad left at the age of 10, and a lot of other abuse and a lot of other things started happening, I was always trying to run to where he was to be where my dad was. And so that resulted in me moving over 25 times before I was 40. 3 children in tow. Orlando, London, New York, wherever I could go, I was just trying to find a place and a space to make something of myself, make something of my life. And I realized that I had to be in control of the pieces. I couldn't get on a job and say, out of here in 6 months. You know, I had to figure out, now that I'm here and I'm there and I'm moving all over the place and I'm trying to fix my life, I had to kind of be in the air traffic control seat of my life. But I realized that I can't do the air traffic control job alone. Look at the photo on your screen. You see there's many different pieces to the puzzle. One person in that control booth would probably have a lot of different issues. Today I'm here with 2 of my sisters. On the phone, I have a lot of other community partners. And in the world, I've just met so many different people by knowing now where it is I'm trying to go and having strategic partnerships in order to get there. But we have to know how to unload this extra baggage from our childhood. We have to know the message. I didn't learn about ACEs until recently. And so, you know, that, like Cendie said, let me know that this is not my fault. You know, it's not my mother's fault. It's not my grandmother's fault. It's just things that happen and take us to certain places. But now I have the awareness and the message of how to deal with it. And I have the maintenance and the knowledge on how to help myself through it. There's no end to where I'll be able to go, and I can always lighten my load. But I'm gonna tell you a little story about how that little girl with at least 10 ACEs by the time she was 10 years old used her community resources, starting with United Way 211, and made herself to become the woman that she is today. I was married, was pregnant with twins, and had no one really around me to go to. My twins were born at 29 weeks, 2 pounds each, touch and go, one natural cesarean. They almost didn't make it. And at this time, I think I might have been at my doctor's office and I saw a leaflet for United Way 211. And I would call them and I would cry and I would let them know what I was going through, and they would listen. And it felt like they cared. They would call me back sometimes the next day. Some of them, I would get so familiar, I would recognize them. They would recognize me by voice, and I would recognize them by voice, and I got to know some of their names. And I asked them one time, how many times have I called you guys in the past couple months? And they were like, probably about 45 times based on our records. And while I was grateful for that community help, I knew that I needed real people. And so that is when, through my church, my small groups, I was in a parenting solo class, and someone said, there's a group out here called Circles, you might be interested in it. Expressed desires of wanting to be an entrepreneur. And they said, give this program a call. And so I called them up and I said, hey, I'm in your area. Can I find out about what you're doing? And they said, sure, come to our dinners. And they had these dinners every Tuesday night. And I would be able to bring the children along with me. They would have childcare while I was able to sit with my allies. Each week, I would just go to the table. I would show my allies. I would say, okay, this is what I'm doing this week. This is what I'm doing this week. This is what I'm working on. And my allies were able to come alongside me, just like all these hands here, all hands on deck. They were able to come alongside me and help me find different resources that I might have needed, different connections, write letters with me, help me with my resume. Whatever specific goal it was I had for my life, these individuals helped me figure that out, whether it was for mental health counseling, for all of the things, the trauma that I had been through in my relationship, counseling for my students who I couldn't help them maybe with, the calculus class that they were trying to take. And so it's just been life-changing. As you can see, my hand happened to be on some promo material. Just by chance, I had 2 bracelets at the time. I have a couple more now, so lets you know that I still have all hands on deck when it comes to this amazing, important work. I've been able to go from homeless to finding a home. I've been able to keep transportation. I've been able to, just do so many different things, as well as now build my consultancy firm where I'm able to teach people those specific skills on this formula on how to help themselves through the trauma, through the trials, with the social capital in their areas. Next slide, please. I hope this is making sense. I hope everybody's catching along with our flow. But questions also, if you have those, you can put those in the chat or chime in. But like Jim Rohn says, he says, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? He says, not much. And I really do agree with these quotes. And I found that in order to really change my life, I've had to do very creative things, find very creative measures, because the economy, a local job will just have me working for. And so my goal right now for myself and for the people that I'm affiliated with is to find out where your gifts, skills, and talents lie. And then find that social capital in those areas that can help you connect with that as you continue your healing journey, You can build on your professional life, you can build on your recreational life, your mental and emotional, and all different types that come with it. So now is the time to stop hitting the snooze button on our lives. Now we have a plan. Now we have a map on how to make life work. We're all here together with all of our community hands on deck. We know that it starts still personally, within our personal space, mind, and time. But when we put all these pieces together, we share where we are, where it is we want to go, we're definitely on a track for success. And so I wanted to just share with you before I leave, just a couple of my social capital, my bridging social capitals, helping me get from where I've been to where it is I want to go. These partnerships in my community have sometimes meant life or death, sink or swim. These spaces that you see in these photographs have helped me through some major trials and tribulations. SCORE, I was able to get a mentor that I'm still affiliated with. Jobs Partnership helped me look at different things. Operation Hope led me a mentor and taught me so many different things as well. Poverty Solutions Group took me as from a circle leader to an ally, to a facilitator. I'm now on their board of directors. Crave, beautiful Crave that's connected all of us here today. I'm now the chair of their board. Discovery Church, Mission Increase, Central Florida Foundation. That's just a few of the many beautiful different organizations and faces that it takes to help us all get through this life path that we're on. And so that was a little bit about the map portion to our formula. We're going to be definitely putting things together in order to continue this healing and this revealing experience. And so the next portion.
I'm going to give it a break. We'll give it a 5-minute break.
That you'll hear after your 5-minute break is going to be from an amazing young woman who's become one of my nearest and dearest friends. She's actually gone through as a student of Amazing Life Consulting. She's a mental and emotional health specialist, a wonderful mom, and she's going to be teaching you how to maintain everything that you might have heard for these past 2 days. How do you come back to where it is you need to be? And so that's going to be in our portion that's coming up in the next 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to read the chat before we break, but feel free to chime in if you would like.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, you are on camera.
Hello, everyone. Went to the restroom, grabbed a bite to eat, a snack on. How are you all enjoying it thus far? I know we got some feedback before we parted ways. So just let us know you're still here. Let us know that you're still here. And I have my 2 lovely sisters that can let me know what's in the chat. Oh, here it is. Okay, I'm here. Okay, y'all in the building here. Adam, you here? Okay, well, thank you all for being here. I'm ready. Okay, so my name is Shequila Roberts, as you've heard previously, and I am founder of Determine Now, also executive director of Meditate with She. So on the screen, you have Determine Now, you have Meditate with She, and then you have this little feisty little 7-year-old, And we're gonna get into that, but I'm dealing with the maintenance part. The maintenance. What comes to your mind when you hear the word maintenance?
Y'all chat real quick when you hear the word
When you
maintenance.
hear the yes. What comes to your mind when you hear the word maintenance? We'll go to the next one. Thank you. What comes to mind? Get it together. Okay, that's good. Get it together. Maintenance. Can someone go ahead and read that for me? The definition there for maintenance, please, and thank you in advance.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read it.
Thank you.
It says maintenance, the process of maintaining or preserving someone or something, or the state of being maintained.
Okay. I just want you to sit with that. Thank you so much for reading that. To sit with that, and I'm going to speak. So you heard the message where we journeyed back through our childhood, and it may have hurt a little bit, could have been triggering. That's why we say brace yourself, because our adverse childhood experiences are directly linked to our current emotional trauma, right? So then we went to the map. You all went through the map with Chantel, and hopefully you created a map that we make a map to determine the destination where we want to go, right? The destination, excuse me, I can't speak, destination of choice. So Chantel said, create a map. And now we're going to deal with the maintenance. So now you've heard or you've brought up some childhood trauma, right? And it may have been triggering. You realize that you didn't really have a map because you were working off of those unhealed emotions, right? And so what happens when everything just kicks off and you still have this adverse childhood experience living within you, right? So if someone can go ahead and read on the screen, emotions are the reporters for the soul, right? Emotions are the reporters for the soul, right? We listen to news anchors every day. Emotions are the reporters for the soul. Whether you want to listen to them, whether you want to deal with it, they're going to show up, right? So I'll go ahead and take it. These are some facts about emotions, and emotions work hand in hand with feelings, right? This is why we look in meditation, allow the emotions to come, right? Allow them to come as if it was an ocean wave and go back into the ocean. Allow them to come, because when we try to hold on to that water, it creates all this discomfort, these feelings, right? They come along with it. So they work together, but they're distinctly different, right? So also emotions are real-time data sparked by sensations in the body, right? In the body. I'm tying it all together. Stay with me. Now, if someone can read the emotional intelligence line, so I can keep y'all engaged. I really love participation.
All right, I'll go ahead and read it.
Thank you, my handsome son.
Emotional intelligence is most often defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we got some kids on the well, we got some kids. Hi.
Yes.
Hi, Lorenzo. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay, can you read it one more time? Print.
Yes, I can. Emotional intelligence is most often defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions.
Okay, emotional intelligence. So many of us, if we go back to childhood and we go back to generations, we were never taught how to deal with our emotions, right? And so if we don't learn or develop a plan of action when it comes to our emotions, they will control us. This is why the maintenance is so important to the message and the map, right? Next slide. Okay, now if I can get two individuals, one person can read the left side of the screen, the other can follow after and read the right side of the screen, I would greatly appreciate it. Balancing act. Anyone?
Balancing act. Once we receive sensory information from the environment, our brains label or code it. We organize the information with other similar information and connect new concepts to existing concepts.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, ACEs are a game changer to this. You see what we do. The balancing act. This is how we receive or don't receive new information. We code it. Our brain labels it, right? So if someone can go ahead and read the adverse childhood experiences on the right-hand side, ACEs are a game changer.
Unless you fix the trauma, the hole in the soul, where the wound started, you're working at the wrong thing. The ACE story is huge, and I've done a lot of stories in my life.
Right. Ponder on that there. You can go ahead and play that video. Just showing here.
We have a little movie star in the background.
Yes.
He's actually participating with us today.
He is the movie star. So this is just showing how important meditation and mindfulness is to start our day off. This is the maintenance. It's new information, so I'm giving you baby steps. So stay with me. So we're gonna go down emotions memory lane. Brace yourself because again, it can be a little triggering. You may cry. If crying is like taking the soul through the laundromat. You can't blame yourself for things you did not know, right? This is all new information, the message, the map, the maintenance. But this formula is gonna take you somewhere if you use it, right? So if you can close your eyes where you are, can't see you all, but if you can close your eyes, and if you can play this. Excuse me. Eyes are closed. My hands are hands. Baby, spirit here. Taking a lot of information. It's okay to have a moment for yourself. You deserve it. Your inner child deserves it. Right into the equation today. We started with the message about adverse childhood experiences. The inner child gets no attention. Today you've chosen to be present.
She said they can hear it. They can't hear Shequila with the music.
We'll keep the music on. Thank you. What about now? Can you all hear me now? Thank you. Okay. So eyes are closed. We're gonna start over. Sorry about that. Eyes are closed. We're gonna get through this. Trust me. Everything is intentional. And we are calm. You are safe. It's okay for you to have a moment for you. Just allow the thoughts to slow down. Focus on your breath, hand on your heart. Your eyes are closed. As those traumas resurface. Another message Cendie taught me was positive childhood experiences. So some of those may pop up as well, because not all is bad, right? You have the message, the inner child. Showing the inner child love and care and concern in this moment. I want you to go back to childhood as early as you can remember. If it gets triggering or emotional, remember to stay at one with your breath. You know, say, imagine being in water, and when you need help, your hands are up, right? But in this space, our breath connects us to spirit, serving as a life jacket for any emotion or feeling that comes up. So stay at one with the breath. Think about your childhood. What do you remember? Who were you with? Where did you live? Who were your friends? Did you have both parents? Did you have one hard-working parent? Went to elementary school. You began to socialize, not knowing that everyone in your classroom had adverse childhood experiences as well. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. You got bullied, name called, your parents divorced, you relocated, you're in middle school, trying to find yourself, possibly connected with the wrong crowd, found a favorite teacher or mentor. You're in high school. It's prom time. Getting ready for the prom. You graduate and you're an adult. Now you say you could have waited on this, huh? Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Because now you're dealing with the real world by yourself, with your adverse childhood experiences, with no map. With no map. And no skill set to maintain where you are. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Allow the tears to flow. Stay in this space. On top of your adverse childhood experiences, you have new trauma, new emotional trauma. Everyone to take a deep breath in through the nose. Raise your shoulders up to your ear and release with the sigh. Again, inhale, shoulders up, exhale with the sigh. Deep breath in through the nose, shoulders up, exhale with the sigh. Right. Thank you all for sharing that space with me, with us. Now, how are you all? How are you all? Go back one. Yeah, right here. How are you all? You can give feedback in the chat. My lovely sisters will also sound, okay.
You're good.
Okay, good. All right. So this is, like I told you, it can be triggering, you can be froze, you can be, this is a new experience. And remember how the brain categorizes new experiences. So good. Okay, that was very calming. Good. So this is now, here it says self-honesty test, right? So what are the emotions that you felt going through that emotional memory lane? You can say 1, you can say 2, you can say 3, you can say all of them. Just chat in the chat, let us know. And so emotional trauma is the end result of events or experiences that leave us feeling deeply unsafe and often helpless. So that's how sometimes you can be 60 years old, but that inner child comes out and has a tantrum, right? It can result from a single event or be part of an ongoing experience, such as chronic abuse, bullying, discrimination, or humiliation, right? So a host of emotions should have popped up during that meditation. Did anyone share? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You're good.
Okay, good. So let's if you know me, let's get down to it, right? Thank y'all for that. When our emotions are engaged, we often have trouble seeing things as they are. When our emotions are engaged, how we just were a few minutes ago, right? We often have trouble seeing things as they are. Right. And so when the emotions are engaged, you go into your body goes into a different mode, right? And this is why under there's triggers, right? Can someone read what a trigger is, please and thank you?
Someone cannot push a trigger that does not exist. That's the one you wanted me to read, Shequila?
Thank you. Thank you. I actually wanted to do the other one, but that's okay. Let's flow with spirit. That's okay. I appreciate it. So when you hear the word trigger, what comes up? You can respond and then others can type in the chat if they like to share their feedback. What is a trigger? What triggers you? Because once you're triggered, the whole thing about this is once you're triggered, your emotions are engaged and you can't see things exactly how they are, right? So your vision is blurred. Your emotional vision is blurred, right?
Somebody said, bring back unsafe feeling, even if I am safe.
Right.
It brings back an unsafe feeling. Ooh, Kathy, that was good. That was real good, Kathy.
Right. Because, and that goes back to the trauma, right? Remember, that was the definition of emotional trauma. So when a trigger comes up, the body remembers. It's like, our body is like a computer. It remembers the original trauma. So it goes back there. So you have that trauma on top of all the other experiences that you lived after that, right? So you're triggered. A trigger, can someone read trigger on the right-hand side? Please.
A trigger is anything that sets you off emotionally and activates memories of your trauma. It's particular to you and what your experience has been. Triggered, we revert to the feelings and behaviors we had in the traumatizing situation.
Okay, thank you. So basically, thank you for sharing, or reading the triggers. So someone cannot push a trigger that does not exist. After this, right here, if you don't listen to anything else, someone cannot push a trigger that does not exist. That means don't blame nobody else. That means I need to look within me, right? Because that person is a messenger, right? That person is a messenger. I can identify, I can hold them accountable, right? But I also have to hold myself accountable for taking it personally or getting triggered, right? So this is what we do. So I hold myself accountable and I hold you accountable too, because I love you so much, right? If you know me, you know I hold you accountable. That's my love language, by the way. Next slide. So here, if you look at the top image, emotions are stored in the body. And if you see disgust, you see happiness. Happiness is the one that has all the radiant, looks like a sun throughout the entire body. All our emotions affect our bodies in different ways, right? Unhealed emotions create dis-ease in the body. Disease, a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific signs or symptoms or that affects a specific location and is nor simply a direct result of physical injury, right? It's not even related to physical injury because it comes from your unhealed emotions. Negative emotions create a whole cycle, and that chart at the bottom, it shows how different emotions affect different organs in our bodies, creating the dis-ease that turns to disease. Next slide, please. And this here, Meditate with She, for today only, you get a 30-minute plus 15-minute Q&A for $39.99. If you're interested in that, that would have to be purchased in 24 hours. We can put the link in the chat for that. You can go to the next one. I have a question.
We're going to do the questions at the end.
Okay. Now also affirmations to help you move forward, right? We just did a lot. How I feel matters. You can take one of these, you can take all of them. How I feel matters. I'm not okay if I'm not okay. I'm not okay I'm not okay if start with being honest with yourself. I'm not okay if I'm not okay. I choose to forgive and let go of anger because anger comes along with these unhealed emotions.
I want to do
okay. Okay. I choose to let go of fear. I choose to let go of fear. Okay. How can I protect that button and not let the other person trigger it? Okay. So Cendie just went ahead, and these affirmations will help as well. That link that's there in the chat, you can click on the link. And you can explore that. We can explore it together. Triggers, listen, triggers come up. If anybody gets triggered, trust me, everywhere I go, right? This warrior in me, and I see it, right? So triggers, affirmations help me a lot, literally a lot. Next slide, please. Okay, and these are just my social handles, Meditate with She, Determine Now, all the good stuff. I'm sure you all
screenshot it.
You can screenshot that. And thank you for sharing time and space with me today. Any questions? Oh, we doing questions?
Yeah, we're gonna do question answer. We're gonna do question. Here we go. Y'all gonna get all three of us beautiful women back up over here. Woohoo! I'm so glad we're done with that part. Yay!
Yay! We did good.
Can you go back to the
Go ahead.
Can you go back to the previous screen just a little bit?
Sure. Which screen? You tell us which one you need.
That one. Thank you so much.
All right, go ahead. Okay, we're the only thing in between y'all and finishing out the rest of y'all's Friday weekend. So thank y'all for hanging in there with us. Y'all collectively, y'all are looking at 30 aces on this screen, like 10, 10, 10. We're dimes, but not in a really good way. However, the thing is that we've been able to figure out like, wow, from yesterday's session, for those of y'all that were there, it's all about connection. Right. Neither one of us knew each other. We didn't know each other's history. And the more and more we find people that get us, right? That get us.
And we get it. It's gold.
And we get, and it don't have to be perfect, right? And so we're just here to say that even with all of our collective trauma, we knew that we just couldn't stop, right? And so we've had 2 hours with y'all to share over over a century's worth of trauma together.
Yeah.
This is a lot that we've tried to unpack in 2 hours, and obviously it's a lot more to go, but we have strategically thought about, like, how do we really go deep and create these connections with other people who see similarities in our stories with theirs, because we want to share our formula.
Right.
Like the three of us together, we want to come together. We have a workshop in mind that we want to offer to people that's going to really help people elevate not only their compassion for themselves, but really creating that compassion for other people. So we're going to leave the flow for y'all. I see Michelle has a question. Michelle, go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
I just am so inspired and safely triggered a little bit, and also given hope about that this is not where it ends. And so I just wanted to ask the three of you if you could describe your ideal audience about who else needs to hear what y'all have to say. I want to be one of the folks to help hand you the microphone in multiple settings. So how would you describe your ultimate audience to expand this critically important information for our communities and the world?
Let's go in order. The message, the map, the maintenance. All right, I'm the message. So I'm gonna go first. It's two people that I would really love to like be in their ear, Michelle. The first group of people are educators who work with Title I students, with students who are going to Title I schools. And I say that with all kind of passion, because if y'all heard me yesterday or this morning, I was a principal of at any time I was in charge of 800 kids, 300 to 800 kids. Gotta look at the camera. I'm sorry. I was in charge of a lot of kids. And I think it's our responsibility as educators to make sure we know what our own triggers, if you will, are, because we will ultimately end up educating from our ACEs. And so one of my audiences is getting in the ears of any educator that has not heard about this. And then my second audience, Michelle, are people who cannot afford to come to conferences like this. I shared yesterday that my privilege of working with the company that happened to mention this in one of their conferences was the only reason why I found out about ACEs. And to me, that doesn't seem fair. Like, if it impacts all of us, the people who came to that particular conference were paying $1,200 a seat. So think of how many people in our neighborhoods, especially like the one that I grew up in, that will never have heard about this unless they know somebody that knows somebody. So those are my two audiences that I would, if I had a magic wand, I'd have them all in a stadium with me.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay.
It's you. Okay. You the map.
You the map.
All
She
right.
the map.
So I'm the map. And so what happens once the school knows and has awareness of, we have students, they have adverse childhood experiences, they need to know how to process it. The parent needs to know how to move her life forward. I would go to the school as well. And I would say that, you know, do you have students that are struggling? Do you have parent-teacher engagements going on? How do you service the staff? And then I would be able to bring in the map, the plan, to teach the teachers, the administrators, as well as the parents, ways that they can lighten their load on a daily basis to have more harmony in their home. And then who they can connect with in the community to reach the goals that they need to set for themselves. As well as corporations, corporate staff that may have employees that need in any type of employee assistance, any type of personal development. Those are the areas and arenas that I would like to bring the map as well as the formula message to.
Right. And I would just say,
Sorry, Shequila. So I'm thinking in terms of corporations, I'm thinking like Cendie and I toured Grace Medical Home recently. So like hospitals, what other corporations are beyond hospitals, schools?
Michelle, can you hear? Okay. I don't think she can hear. Hello?
They're still there. Y'all just can't see them. They're still there.
Okay. Can you all hear us? Okay. Basically, I was going to say children and families, but everyone needs the message, the map, and the maintenance. Individually, collectively, no matter, everyone needs, so children and family is broad, but literally everyone can benefit from this information. And I think it'll be a good idea to start with the executive leadership of everywhere, because the leader sets the tone. I hope I answered your question, Michelle.
Still here.
Okay.
Deborah Hodge. Thank you, Michelle. Deborah Hodge, go ahead and come off mute. What questions you have? Saw Deborah raise their hand. Anybody else?
I think I did, or I tried maybe. Diana?
It was a Deborah and a Diana. So whoever had, go ahead, Diana.
All right. Well, before I go into my question, regarding the businesses, I was thinking that maybe targeting those businesses that have a large population of those of us that are people of color, and starting from there, or even just large populations, because that's when you kind of are able to make a bigger impact, even though not everybody may participate, but you will be able to touch a lot of people. But my question is regarding what, and forgive me, don't remember the name now, but what you were saying about the schools and all of that. So I am semi-retired.
Okay.
And I left my full-time job, but I'm still working with the university as a consultant to Bethune-Cookman University. And so, did you go there?
I did. I am a Wildcat.
Oh, wonderful. Well, congratulations.
Connections.
Great. I worked there for many years and it's still my home. I'm still working as a consultant for them. But so with the students, we used to be very active in a school that was nearby, which is a Title I. And then I was thinking, is there such a thing as a parent advocate? Like, a lot of the parents don't go to the parent-teacher conferences because it's just very intimidating and they're always called for something negative, and I had terrible experiences. My children are already out of the house, and I feel like I would love to do that. I would love to be able to go with somebody to that, as their advocate, as somebody that is on their side and that is able to sort of discern the system and help them with that.
Oh, Diana, I love that personally.
Yes,
and if you think about it, every successful entrepreneur, basketball player, whatever, they all have an advocate, probably usually their coach or their assistant. And so, Diana, in my opinion, because I used to work at schools, parents need that, because if they're not going and participating in these meetings, survey says they probably don't feel safe.
Right.
I don't feel safe because I don't have the language that they have.
Right.
I don't feel safe because the way they might have made me feel.
Yes.
And again, not to like throw teachers under the bus, because I was once there. Like for us, it's like helping the teachers understand how to make connections with these families so that they will actively want to get involved. But the only way to do that, as she said, is that if there's blockage, right, from your in childhood trauma that you haven't healed, you're not going to be able to hear nothing that parent is asking you for, because you got your own stuff. So we want to help teachers process their own stuff so they can receive parent advocates like yourself. But I'm not aware of that in Florida myself personally, but Chantel can speak to it.
I am. It was put in the chat. OCPS has parent liaisons, because sometimes that parent might be going through ACEs. That parent might drop off that child without a pencil. That parent might be full to the brim with stress and doesn't know how to navigate the system, doesn't have time to talk to four teachers for her 4 children, and just is at her wit's end. So that's what hopefully the MAP portion of what we're offering can come in and say to that parent, where are you? What kind of community resources do you need? What kind of tangible help do you need in your household? And then they can have the mental capacity to deal more with the teachers, who are also more level-headed, and we can try to just get everyone on a one page.
Right. I want to briefly chime in real quick. I want to say that this is a goal. This is the objective for completing the formula. You want to balance it out, because stepping in to be that parent liaison, you are creating positive childhood experiences, right? So that helps balance out. And so we're happy that the formula has sparked some inspiration.
Thank you. I cannot say that I went through that because I had my children later and I already had a career, but I remember my mother going through that. And my mom was, she's not educated, but I remember her cheeks shaking when she went to meet the teacher. It was extremely intimidating for her.
Right.
So I remember that so distinctively. And so thank you. Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had 2 other people raise their hand. I saw a couple of hands raised. Y'all, we have like 7 minutes, so we want to make sure if you have any other thoughts, we've got several people that expressed interest in like participating in our workshop. But before we answer the last questions, I think my new connections would agree with me when we say that the end result of any formula, whatever formula ends up working for you and the people you love in terms of healing their ACEs, the real end goal is what Chantel talked about earlier, which is social capital. Mm-hmm. A parent who's single with 4 kids, we can give her all the information we want about ACEs, all the information we want about meditating, and all the information we want about organizing. But if she ain't got nobody to call on to help ease that load, which is the social capital, is she just dragging her baggage along with her from one school to the next. So this whole thing about the formula, the end result is by doing this workshop, we create people who can rely on each other. That's it. Right. At the end of the day, we all need the CIA and not the CIA that you're thinking about. We all need connection, information, because none of us like to feel left out or walk into the school feeling like, oh my gosh, she's going to embarrass me. And we all need to know with that connection and information, will I be accepted even though I'm 20 minutes late or I forgot my kid's pencil? So if we don't all have the CIA as a part of our social capital, none of this formula is going to break down. And that's why we need like collectively people to come together and we all work on ourselves so that we can share what's working for us. So everybody's formula may be different. This is what worked for me. I needed to heal by knowing that it wasn't my fault. And that's how it worked. I was like, okay, I'm not as crazy as I thought I was. And so that worked for me in my formula, right? Right. Shequila was able to realize I need to meditate. I need to sit with myself. I got to sit with myself and figure out what these thoughts trying to tell me. And then obviously Chantel's story is perfect. She moved 25 times in 40 years.
I had to organize my life.
She had to figure out, like, if I don't get this organized, I might have to move again. So let's take those last 2 questions. Thank you, ladies. I have some family now. Thank you for coming, Lizette. We can't wait to see you. We got your email. Go ahead, the last 2 people who had questions, and then I'm gonna give y'all airtime because I'm talking too much. Shequila's mom and son have a question.
Oh, okay.
Hello. It is
Hi, Lorenzo.
I am Shequila Roberts' son, and I like to say I enjoyed this meeting very much. It was very informative. And next time you do one of these, you might have to call me so I can help with the machinery and the tech.
Thank you, son. We will pay
Y'all
you for
see
your
why we
services.
love kids?
We're gonna
This is
pay
why
you
we
for your
love kids.
services. Don't worry about it. We're gonna pay you for your services.
Lorenzo is an example of having a mom who's working through her ACEs. And y'all don't know that Shequila's mom is also in the background. So we just addressed 3 generations in 2 hours. Right. So it's possible. Thank you, Kathy. Shonda, you had a question?
Yes, I just wanted to say, you ladies are awesome. And Shequila talked about triggers. And a lot of time people don't understand triggers because they think sometimes people just go off just out of the blue, but there's always an underlying condition there. And I don't know if you recently heard about Mike Tyson beating somebody up on the plane or something. It came and he was provoked. No, he's dealing with some issues that apparently has never got solved, even after he bit off Evander Holyfield's ear. Okay, so there's still some things going on with him. So how do you ladies deal with your trigger? Because I'm pretty sure from all the trauma you ladies have experienced, how do you deal with your triggers so it won't come out in your behaviors and you react to that?
I want it. I'm just gonna say 2 things.
I just want to think.
See, we did. Okay, I'm gonna just say I listen to my body now. That's it. I listen to my body. Go.
Because like you said, the responses show you where you need to go.
Yeah,
right.
So
They do.
Okay, what you do? I listen to my body, and Shonda in the workshop we break that down exactly. Like, what does that mean?
I set healthy boundaries early on
The ABCs.
with relationships,
Okay.
with anybody. Healthy boundaries help us deal with that, because what it is I'm not setting a boundary and I'm being quiet, but then I'm like, I still feel some kind of way, and then you keep doing it, and then now I feel like you're disrespecting me, but I can't get upset with you about something that I didn't communicate, an expectation or a boundary that I didn't communicate to you. So I do healthy boundaries.
Yes. And I do communication with people who have skills that can help me through. I'm vulnerable with, hey, what it is I'm going through. Is it a 211 helpline, or hopefully it's a friend that has been through it, that I can trust, that I can share, and then I can grow. So.
And y'all need to know that we have only known each other. We've known each other less than a year.
Yeah.
Yes, all three of us.
We've known each other less than a year, but it started off about, oh, I can be vulnerable. So Shonda, I would say your body, your boundaries, and
your what? Body, boundaries, and balance.
Body, boundaries, balance. And of course, we break that down.
Right.
Yeah.
If you sign up for the workshop, y'all are going to learn that I peed on myself because I wasn't listening to my body. That's the whole story. The whole story. I peed on myself because I was not listening to my body during my very first presentation.
See, and that's funny there, but you know, I spoke to someone that caused them a tremendous ace. Their teacher wouldn't let them go to the bathroom when they had to use the toilet.
I was a grown up. I was 40 and
I
hadn't heard about ACEs and hadn't worked on myself. I was standing in the room with 50 people and peed on myself while I was presenting. So we got a question. We got 1 minute, one more question, and then make sure y'all follow us. Adam, did you have something? Oh, she said that.
Did I have a question? No, I was just gonna say, together, I think is what our community needs, and just a shout out for Circle, create a space for people who need time to heal from poverty and then move forward.
Yes. We're very grateful to Circles, to Crave, to all of you, all the organizations that you all represent and the people that you represent. We are the people that you represent, that you come to work each day to show up for. So on behalf of them that may not be here because they're in the tyranny of the moment, we thank you for them. Those are my closing words.
Let's do the thank you, and then we need to close out with our undebatable statement, because everybody should remember this and tell everybody you know this is why they should learn about this. But what you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my family, who's always supporting me, and all of you. I see Crave, I see Circles, and a lot of other important. Everybody's important, right? This is what we learn when we meditate. And just thankful for you all sharing time and space and being receptive to new information and understanding how that information is received and categorized, and how you can maintain this new level, this new formula you just got.
And I'm thankful for the microphone, because the people with the microphones have the loudest voice. Honestly, like if y'all think about everything that we've all seen on the news, we all knew about COVID when it happened. We all knew about Mike Tyson biting the ear off when it happened. Why? Because somebody had a microphone. So I'm very thankful for a microphone, that we have people that like really want to address this. And I'm thankful for the CIA, which is connection, information. And these people accept me just the way I am, right? And so when you get those type of people around you, all of a sudden nothing else matters. So again, my undebatable statement is that people who work through their childhood traumas overall do better mentally, physically, and financially. That is an undebatable statement.
My undebatable statement is people who practice mindfulness learn how to be and receive the gift in the present moment.
And my undebatable statement is people who organize their space, mind, and time are able to plan their work their plan, and make their life work.
Amazing. Thank you all so much for being here. Bye.
You guys were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.